let's begin. Hi yogis, welcome to this week's version of how yoga works, the science and anatomy behind some of our favorite exercises or stress reducers. Today we're going to talk about interoceptive perception. We are probably more common with outeroception perception and interoceptive perception, and that is our being aware of what's going on outside of us. So if you hear music on the radio, what the beat is. If you hear noises in the background, what is that noise? Whereas interoceptive perception is, what is your heart rate when you hear those noises? What does your stomach do when you run into a crush? So there are lots of fascinating, amazing scientific research that has now caught up to yoga. One of the most recent ones was done by a gentleman named Norman Farb at the University of Toronto. And his study was based on the difference of when we notice something outside of ourselves as compared to when we notice something inside our own body and where that's registered in the brain. So it was kind of a shock what he found. Most people and what most scientists have thought up until this point is that all of our receptions, whether outside or inside, are registered in the frontal cortex of the brain, which is the new brain. It literally is sometimes called the neocortex, meaning new brain. And it processes a lot of the information that we get on a daily basis. It's where we kind of plan and what makes us human and separate from other mammals. But when he did the research, he had people tested intercepting sounds from the outside, intercepting sounds like your heartbeat from the inside. And those receiving information or stimuli from the inside of the body, certain regions of their brain in the back of the brain, so an older sector of the brain that most animals and mammals actually share with us. And so it's this separate, maybe, part of the brain that connects to the inside of the body and being aware of what's going on inside, and that's kind of that animal instinct in a way. So how does yoga work? How does yoga come into this? Meditation and lots of breathing exercises are designed to activate that interoceptive perception, meaning that it's designed to sort of bypass the crazy overthinking frontal cortex, front part of the new brain, and go right back to that more instinctual brain, animal brain in the back, which has access more to your parasympathetic nervous system, slowing down the heart rate and the breath and just making you aware of what's going on internally in the body. And then another whole separate research project done by Emma Sapala. She did a lot of research regarding veterans who suffer from PTSD. And there's actually a whole nother sector of yoga that deals specifically with this called trauma-sensitive yoga. And she found that veterans, when forced to sit and do these breathing exercises like meditation, even though, like probably most people, they found it extremely uncomfortable to actually sit with that part of themselves where emotions and thoughts and memories come up that are more connected to your internal, maybe past experience of something. But in the long run, after doing it for a certain amount of time, they found that those sensations dissipated and the pain and emotion faded, and instead the veterans were left with more of a sense of empowerment because there was no need for drugs or psychologist intervention or alcohol or any of the other known stimuli that seems like would be a good idea to kind of numb having to go to that space. Without those, and just using your own body and your breath, it is this great, acknowledgement of you have control over your body again. So that is our how yoga works. If you've ever been curious about why meditation or these breathing exercises are so powerful, and there are tons of other studies. This is just an example on this interoceptive perception, moving to the inside as opposed to sort of putting all of your focus on the outside world and trying to control that in some way. It's about trying to create a environment that is filled with more harmony from the inside out. If you are interested in related articles to this or the actual research studies that I've referenced, I will link them below. And I'll also link a page to trauma-sensitive yoga, which is super powerful. I've studied it myself. If you know of anybody in your life suffering from PTSD, that might be helpful to check out. And, maybe all of us might have some sort of trauma. Maybe not as extreme as others, but the benefits are equally helpful. Thanks for joining me on Yoga University. This is Sarah, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.